Hey y'all, real quick plug before we get started. I've got new merch available. It's the Scarinator collection. Get yours today. The link is just below the description. All right, now it's time to get creepy. It was a beautiful Thursday night on March 13, 1997 in Phoenix, Arizona. Not a cloud in the sky, and the temperature was perfect. On that fateful night, the skies above Phoenix became a stage for a spectacle like no other. Thousands of witnesses reported seeing the formation of mysterious lights that stretched across the horizon, captivating the attention of the entire city. The incident would go on to become one of the most documented UFO sightings in history. But what exactly happened that night? Was it a mere figment of imagination? A military exercise gone awry? Or perhaps proof of an extraterrestrial visitation? I'm going to take you on a quest to uncover the truth, separating fact from fiction as we explore the enigma of the Phoenix Lights. Hold on to your ass and get ready for some crazy ass shit as we launch into this fascinating exploration into the Phoenix Lights. We'll analyze credible eyewitness testimonies, examine flawed government responses, and delve into the world of alternative explanations and weak scientific perspectives. By the end of this journey, I'll shed some light on this enduring mystery and leave you with plenty to mull over. The 1990s were a pretty intriguing point in history. Interest in UFOs and alien abduction was the hot topic of the day. This spurred several shows based on aliens and UFOs. Independence Day, Men in Black, Stargate, Contact, Species, The X-Files, my favorite, Alien Resurrection, The Arrival, and Fire in the Sky, just to name a few. To say the general public was interested in the subject was a massive understatement. The Phoenix Lights incident holds significant importance in the realm of UFO research, leaving behind a lasting legacy that continues to intrigue and captivate both researchers and the public alike. This extraordinary event marked a turning point in the study of unidentified aerial phenomena. The scale and public visibility of the Phoenix Lights sparked the interest of scientists and researchers who had previously been skeptical or dismissive of UFO phenomena due to a lack of evidence. With the overwhelming amount of visual evidence provided by the Phoenix Lights, more scientists began to take the subject seriously and investigate it with a rigorous scientific approach. The Phoenix Lights sighting highlighted the importance of gathering detailed and consistent witness testimonies. Researchers developed standardized interview protocols to ensure systematic and comprehensive data collection. Necessity is the mother of invention. They conducted in-depth interviews with witnesses, documenting their observations, emotions, and any supporting evidence they may have had. This allowed for a more thorough understanding of the event. Photographic and video analysis took a huge leap forward due to the Phoenix Lights. Researchers developed techniques to assess the authenticity, the clarity, and the credibility of the images and videos captured by witnesses. They employed image enhancement software, performed pixel analysis, and conducted comparative studies to determine the size, the shape, and the movements of the observed objects. So it actually helped them hone their craft a little. This meticulous analysis helped separate potential hoaxes or misidentifications from genuinely unexplained phenomena, leading to more accurate assessments of the event. Somewhere between 7:30 and 8 p.m. on March 13, 1997, a set of lights in a V formation appeared in the clear night sky over Arizona. It was spotted for over 300 miles, starting in Henderson, Nevada, heading southeast through Phoenix before disappearing. The National UFO Reporting Center, NUFORC, and the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, received numerous reports of unknown craft. The first report of it was at 8:16 p.m. by Richard Curtis, a retired soldier in Paulden, Arizona, to Councilwoman Frances Barwood. He reported seeing a cluster of reddish-orange lights arranged in a V formation. He said he had a crystal-clear video of the craft. He said, "You can clearly see the shape. You can tell how big it is compared to the surrounding buildings. The lights on it are gaseous looking, and the stars in the sky are blacked out behind it. It's without a doubt a solid craft." The next day, Curtis was paid a visit by two men dressed in three-piece black suits, black shoes, and black briefcases. Did they look like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? He asked them if they were from Mrs. Barwood's office, and they said they were. They asked if he had the videotape of the craft. He confirmed he did. Then they asked him if he had made any copies of them. He replied he didn't. They responded that they would make a copy for him themselves and get it back to him. He then handed them the tape, and they left in a black sedan. A few hours later, he called Barwood's office to confirm she got the tape from the two men who picked them up. She told Curtis she had no men who worked in her office. They're all female. This really pissed him off. So much so, he went to the local TV news station to give an interview on the whole thing, including the Men in Black visit. Dude, you probably shouldn't have done that. Shortly after that, Barwood tried to call Curtis, but he didn't answer. When she got to his apartment, no one was there. But the neighbors informed her that Curtis had supposedly taken a faulty medication and had been transported by ambulance to the hospital. Yeah, right. However, there were no records of Curtis ever being admitted to any of the area hospitals when Barwood started looking for him. She later found out that her phone lines had a government tap on them. Richard Curtis was never seen again. Another sighting was by a dude named Terry Proctor. He also got video evidence of the lights, but I can't show it due to copyright. I'll leave a link to his video with some enhanced version of it in the description below. It was recorded on a low-lux Sony Hi8 camera. It's not even close to HD. Except for the first few frames, the video's dark and grainy. But if you pause it at the beginning of it, you can clearly see the V shape in the lights. There are a lot of videos out there that show the 10 p.m. lights or the second sighting, but very few of the first sighting. In Proctor's video of the first sighting, he counts 5 lights in a solid formation. A phone rings and he talks to his wife, who's in the background, very assertively. I can tell by his tone he's stressed and worried. Here's a screen grab from the beginning of the video. You can see the clear V form in the lights. On the video, they didn't look hollow like these. I think that's just a blurring issue due to the camera movement. A laser printer technician named Dana Valentine witnessed the craft from his front yard in Phoenix. He hurriedly called his father, an aeronautics engineer, outside to come see it. He definitely should know what the hell it is. Together, they watched what appeared to be a V-shaped craft hover at about 500 feet and slowly and silently pass over them. He said that they could see the outline of a mass behind the lights, but you couldn't actually see the mass. It was more like a gray distortion of the night sky. That sounds like it was semi-cloaked. Neither he nor his father knew what the hell it was, but they knew it was not a technology either one has seen before. Tim Lee, a management consultant, got out of his car to check it out. He described the event saying that it was astonishing and a little frightening. It was so big and so strange you couldn't actually see the object. All you could see was the outline, as though something was blotting out the stars. The lights looked like a gas. There was a distortion on the surface. Also, the light didn't spill out or shine. I've never seen a light like that before. That's probably why the earlier guy's camera couldn't pick up the lights so well. According to a USA Today article at that time, air traffic controllers couldn't see the lights on their radar, despite seeing them with their own eyes. Bill Grava, who had been an air traffic controller for 12 years and worked the Sky Harbor International Airport Tower in Phoenix that night, called the incident weird and inexplicable. He reiterated years later that he still didn't know what to think and has no idea what it was. Dr. Lynn Kitai, a Paradise Valley medical doctor, got word of the lights, grabbed her video camera, and went outside to investigate. She noticed the lights looked like orbs in a mile-wide formation, and she caught them head-on, turning into a V. She waited 7 years before coming forward with her information. What she discovered was that it was a parade of 10 crafts. The 10 different crafts could morph into what looked like one craft from one perspective, or a parade of different crafts from another. Dr. Kitai said that she didn't know what they were, but she knew that they were. Bill Greiner, a truck driver, said that his route took him within a mile of Luke Air Force Base. He said that he witnessed 2 orbs, one of which was floating over the Air Force Base. At that moment, 3 F-16s took off, after which the orb pursued one of them, but then shot up into the sky and disappeared. Bill said, "If anyone had told me they saw a UFO, I would have said, yeah, but I believe in the Tooth Fairy." Now he thinks a little differently. Seeing is believing. He continued, "I may be a dumb truck driver, but I've seen something that don't belong here. I wish the government would just admit it. Do you know what it's like living in this city now? It's like having 50,000 people watch a football game and then having someone tell us we weren't there. That's a pretty good analogy. Of course, you're never going to get a straight answer when it comes to the government or the military, obviously. Luke Air Force Base is right next to Phoenix. Government officials and the public started calling them to ask what they've got up in the sky over Phoenix. They said they didn't have any planes in the air at the time, nothing on radar, and they didn't know anything more about it. Their attitude was basically, nothing to see here, move along. Typical. As I said earlier, there were two different sightings of the lights on that night. The first one was from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., and the second was from 10 p.m. to around 11 p.m. Allegedly, they were both under the call sign Operation Snowbird. Supposedly, the first sighting was due to 5 A-10 warthogs flying in formation, displaying steady formation lights rather than the blinking collision lights. The formation flew over Phoenix and on to Tucson, landing at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base about 8:45 p.m. The second sighting was purportedly due to a flare drop exercise by 4 different A-10 jets from the Maryland Air National Guard, also operating out of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. The U.S. Air Force explained the exercise as utilizing slow-falling, long-burning illumination flares dropped on a training exercise in western Pima County, Arizona. Wait, you mean it wasn't a weather balloon? They claimed the flares would have been visible in Phoenix and appeared to hover due to rising heat from the burning flares, creating a balloon effect on the parachutes, which slowed their descent. The lights then appeared to wink out as they fell behind the Sierra Estrella mountain range to the southwest of Phoenix. Okay. On May 6, 1997, during a city council meeting, City Councilwoman Frances Barwood asked City Manager Frank Fairbanks if there was going to be an investigation. She asked if anybody knew what this object was and can we check into it. She was met with nothing but a bunch of blank stares. After the meeting, the city manager approached her and whispered into her ear, "You shouldn't have asked that question." Shortly after that, she was mocked by the Arizona Republic with a cartoon of her with a light switch on her forehead in the off position, with a button on her chest that said, "I love UFOs." The mayor's office even handed out business cards with her name on it that said, "Speak into the tinfoil. I will hear you." Man, what a bunch of dickheads. Despite being ridiculed, she continued to receive phone calls from eyewitnesses describing the exact same thing. The whole event went unacknowledged until June 18, 1997, when USA Today published an article on the mass sighting, bringing the story into the national spotlight. The public outcry for an official explanation never ceased, and still hasn't. Then Governor Fife Symington initially claimed he hadn't even heard of the incident, but finally scheduled a press conference for June 19, 1997 to address it. To the relief of reporters and the distress of witnesses, Symington claimed the government had captured the perpetrator of the Phoenix Lights. As a joke, he brought out his chief of staff in an alien costume in handcuffs. He said, "This just goes to show that you guys are entirely too serious." What an asshole. However, in 2007, he admitted he had seen the lights on that night. He stated, "The lights were brilliant and just fascinating. It was enormous. It just felt otherworldly. You could tell it was not of this world." And this segues into the next chapter nicely. Many people in general, and all of the witnesses, weren't buying the military's weak explanation of the sighting. Let's start with the flares. Typically, military flares will burn for 2 to 3 minutes. The slow-falling, long-burning flares do burn longer, but only for 5 to 7 minutes. Some folks watch the lights for over an hour. The whole sighting took place for nearly 3 hours. So there is no way in hell the flares were hanging in the sky for almost 3 hours. The sheer size of the V-shaped formation reported by witnesses, which spanned a significant portion of the sky, and the extended duration of the sighting, raised valid questions about the plausibility of the flare's explanation. You think? Next, the lack of sound during the sighting. 5 A-10 warthogs flying that close together make a significant amount of aircraft noise, even at a distance. And with the Sierra Estrella mountain range to the southwest of Phoenix, the sound waves would have bounced off of them and reflected back towards the city, creating the signature rumble commonly heard with the A-10 Warthog. On top of that, no one saw any planes or helicopters or any other aircraft in the vicinity when the alleged flares were dropped. Witnesses described the lights as solid, distinct, self-contained objects that moved in a synchronized manner and maintained a consistent formation. This behavior did not align with what would typically be expected from aircraft or flares fallen independently through the air, especially when considering the scale and configuration of the lights. The flares would have had to have been fallen at the exact same rate and kept the exact same distance from one another, and that ain't gonna happen. And finally, the witnesses' credibility. Many of the witnesses who came forward were reputable members of the community, including professionals such as pilots, doctors, law enforcement officers, and military personnel. I would also include politicians, but they're not really respectable. Their testimonies added a ton of credibility to the sightings and raised doubts about the military's explanation. Another explanation given recently is that it was a top-secret black project aircraft, like the TR-3B. The TR-3B is often described as a triangular aircraft that utilizes advanced propulsion systems using anti-gravity propulsion. It's claimed to have the ability to hover silently, travel at high speeds, and maneuver with exceptional agility. The alleged aircraft is said to have advanced stealth capabilities, making it virtually invisible to radar. However, it's important to note that there's no verifiable evidence or official confirmation from the government of the existence of the TR-3B. Plus, I've seen several pictures of the TR-3B. they don't look nearly as big as the Phoenix Lights. Since the government's explanation is basically bullshit, and we know it wasn't swamp gas or a weather balloon or anything ridiculous like that, what's left? Well, the obvious. It was a visit from extraterrestrials. First, let's start with the unconventional flight characteristics of the Phoenix Lights. Witness reports describe the lights moving in a synchronized manner, maintaining a very consistent formation and displaying unconventional flight patterns. Such behavior suggests the involvement of advanced technology. And that's because even our best pilots can't stay in absolute perfect formation for 3 hours. Another hypothesis for it being alien encroachment is that the Phoenix Lights wasn't an isolated event. V-shaped craft have been spotted in a number of places worldwide. The Belgium Wave in 1990, the Rendlesham Forest incident in the UK in 1980, the Norway Hestelin Lights in 1982, the Hudson Valley sightings from 1983 to 1989. There are a few more, I just didn't list all of them. The Phoenix Light incident aligns with historical accounts of UFO sightings and encounters throughout history. These reports include instances of large, unidentified objects exhibiting advanced flight capabilities beyond our current technological understanding. The cumulative weight of such historical evidence supports the notion of extraterrestrial visitation. And lack of government disclosure seals the deal for most people, including me. Governments worldwide have routinely withheld information regarding UFO sightings and extraterrestrial encounters. The existence of classified programs, leaked documents, and testimonies from whistleblowers show a deliberate effort to conceal the truth from the public. And they've been doing that stupid shit for a long time. So, were the Phoenix Lights a military exercise or some extraterrestrials checking out the Southwest? Personally, there's no fucking way this was a military exercise. It doesn't even come close to passing the smell test. In my opinion, the second sighting was an actual flare drop. It was the military's feeble attempt to cover up the first sighting, which was an actual UFO. The Phoenix Lights incident continues to be a captivating enigma that fuels the belief in extraterrestrial visitation. Despite attempts to provide conventional explanations, the evidence and compelling arguments in favor of an extraterrestrial presence retain considerable strength. The absence of satisfactory explanations absolutely points to an otherworldly origin. As we delve deeper into our understanding of the universe, the Phoenix Lights incident serves as a reminder of the vast mysteries that await exploration. It challenges us to remain open-minded and continue pushing the boundaries of our understanding of the universe and our place within it. The Phoenix Lights will forever be etched as a milestone in the quest for the truth about extraterrestrial life. Whether the lights were a glimpse into an advanced civilization from beyond our world or an enigma we have yet to decipher, they serve as a constant reminder that the universe is vast and teeming with mysteries yet to be unveiled. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of this perplexing phenomenon. Tell me what y'all think about the Phoenix Lights in the comments. Are they aliens? Do you think the military is telling the truth? Or is it some natural phenomenon? Thank you again for watching this far into my video. You're total beasts. Oh, and one more thing. Stay creepy!